Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Kim Chester Salazar Foliero. So, my topic for this module 11 is the guidelines in producing a radio magazine. So, today I will guide you through the creative and technical process of producing a radio magazine. So, as a communication student and a DevCom practitioners, um, the radio magazine is important and which has a dynamic format where it blends with the news, the stories, the music, and interviews. So it's like a magazine, but this one is for the radio. So let us explore the six um, key elements or the guidelines that we need or you need to know in producing a radio magazine. Okay, so for this slide, we have this is the guidelines in producing a radio magazine. First, we have here the title. So, title is the identity of our program. Um, it should be catchy and most of all relevant and can easy to remember by our audience or by our listener. So, for example, um, if our theme is about the culture, we might use a title like culture stories or a certain title that is related or relevant to the particular topic that you are going to tackle in that particular culture. So if it's about the community issues, we might use a title like "The Voices of the People." This one will works well. So let us always remember that the title is our first step in building our radio magazine brands. So for the next one, we have here the signature. Yeah, the signature is this is the music that we hear at the beginning and the end of the show. um, excuse me. So it sets the mood and help the listeners recognize our program. It can be like instrumental or including a voiceover or be a short jingle. So just like an example that if you're familiar with the TV Patrol signature tune, right? Every time that the program will begin or will start, they have their own signature tune, and after the end of the program, they will play the signature tune as well. So in order to make this, we must ensure that to keep it short, in creating a signature tune it should be around 10 to 15 seconds, and we can use it consistently in every episodes of our program. So that's it. So for the third one or the next one, we have here the host or the presenter. This is also important in our radio program or radio magazine because the host will bring the programs to life. Um, the host voice should be clear. Um, he or she must be confident and engaging. So the host must ensure or must practice voice modulation, the phrasing, and the pronunciation of the words that he is talking or speaking, is using. So let us always like think of the host that we must think of the host as a tour guide for the listeners because they are the one that they will guide the listeners on what they need to learn, what they need to be aware of a certain or particular topic, right? So the host must be someone relatable, energetic as well, and must easy to follow. Yeah. So that's the characteristic of the host that we must ensure. Especially, we must ensure the technical aspect of our radio program as well. By using a microphone, a good quality of microphone, and anything that we might use just to ensure that the host must clearly state or uh, the message or right that can be understood by the audience. So for the next one, we have here the linking style. Number four, the linking style, which is important for smooth transitions between segments. As far as we can remember, if we could remember in the if you the modules um, in the module 14 of producing a radio magazine that I am currently discussing right now. In the activity, it provided a sample or it illustrates the example of how to use the linking style. Right. So for smooth transitions, so we might use spills like coming up next, we'll discover the story behind. Yeah, right, for example. So we can also use music beds or sound effects to make transitions more dynamic. We must avoid abrupt cuts. The flow should feel like a continuous story. Despite if you started with a certain topic, for example, you began with a topic from the market and you will include it into the family inside of the house. So you need to learn how you can link that situation. So that's the thing that we must ensure in creating a radio magazine. Okay, so for the next one, we have here the program content. Yeah. So the program content, this is the heart of our radio magazine. These are the common segments. Includes like as I've shown here in my presentation, the news briefs, which is this is the updates on local or national events, an information or a news about that certain or particular topic, events. So the next one is the feature story. So a deeper look into a topic, like for example, a hero's journey. Someone made a heroic act in a particular phenomenon. For example, during a typhoon, someone helped other people just to survive in that certain occurrence of a typhoon, right? So that's the feature of the story. So for the next one, we have the interview with an expert or a community member with a particular topic, like you are disseminating or informing or disseminating the people an awareness to the people or to your listeners. So you might want to interview, for example, a doctor, since dengue is now evident in your community, and there are a lot of cases in that community. So you might want to interview a doctor about that particular cases to provide awareness to your listeners or to the community. So there's a social change that you want to include in that. So the next one is the last one, the entertainment. For example, a spoken word, a trivia, or a music. You can use this one just to, to shift the topic or to entertain or to provide a more engaging program to our listeners. So these are the program content. So each segment should be around 3 to 5 minutes long. So when we search, for example, we verify the facts, yeah, and mix scripted lines with excuse me, spontaneous delivery. So, for example, today let's meet Aling Rosa, a mother in the barangay who helps local youth for find their voice. So like that. So we can use that. Okay. So for the next one, we have here the last one. The last one of the guidelines is excuse me. I have the studio production, which is these are the behind the scenes. Is where the, the studio production makes everything works or make everything smooth. It helps the host or whatsoever or like that. So we have here the first is the script writing. In script writing, we must ensure that we must keep or the script writer must ensure that um, he or she keep clear and conversational. The script and in creating a script. Okay, so for the next one is the voice recording. Like what I have said before, we must use a good microphone set, or in a quiet, or we are in a quiet space, like where there's we are comfortable in that place where we can have a record our a program that we are doing, right, like that. So we must ensure that all the technical aspects of our radio uh, program must ensure that it has a good or quality about that. So just like that. So for the next one is the sound design. In sound design, we must add music and effects to enhance the mood of, of the program. Also to engage, to be more engaging in the audience. So that is the sound design. So for the next one, we have here editing. So in editing, for example, if we were going to create a program that is edit or not a live program, you know, uh, we're just going to play it. We must ensure to remove the dead air and adjust the phasing. So that's the good thing of creating an edited or a radio program about that. So tools like Audacity, know, um, always do test Audacity, Adobe Audition, or BandLab in editing. It can help, and we must always do a test recording and listen with fresh ears before finalizing or conducting a radio program. Okay, so once again, thank you for watching and for listening to my report. Here are the references that I have used during this report, and that's our guide to producing a radio magazine, where each element from the title to the final editing plays a role in creating a meaningful and engaging program. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and I hope this helps you produce your own creative and powerful radio magazine. This is Kim Chester Fuliano signing off.